Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Rocket Monday, we're going to talk about relativity space updates. So let's dive right into it. Now, because I've already covered it, I'm just only going to give you a brief introduction of it. It was created by former employees of Blue Origin, and everybody who's met them and described them, they are basically walking, talking geniuses. So they are not normal people. They're not like smart, clever. No, they're like genius tier level. And what they are trying to do is achieve 100% 3D printed rocket. What does that mean? That simply means right now there are a lot of 3D printing, especially in engine, injectors, things of that nature. So that's good. They're like, what if we make the 3D printed the tanks itself? So their end game is from raw material to rockets in 60 days, meaning client comes in, it's like, bro, I want to launch a rocket. They're like, okay, control P, done, take it and go in 60 days. So that's their end game. And what will be the benefit of it? Benefit would be super quick upgrades and redesign, meaning the core reason why SpaceX went from okay rocket company to damn rocket company is simply because SpaceX did not fall into the traps of old companies where they are like, we made it, let's not tamper with it. They're like, okay, we made Falcon 9 Mark 1. They're like, okay, it's good, it works. How about we can redesign it? That we create a Block 2. Then they're like, how about we do it again? Block 3. How about we do it again? Block 4. How about we do it again? Block 5 right now. And at this point in time, from a financial point of view, they're like, dude, we should settle it down. Now let's focus on Starship. So that's how SpaceX, beat the trap of getting stuck in a loop. So that's very good. Now imagine this company, every time they are printing, that's a new rocket for them, like fundamentally from day one. Like if they have a redesign of engine basically system, they can reprint it. If they have a scenario where I think tank wall thickness can be reduced for saving material or improving print time, or maybe what, I think we need much higher trajectory where G shocks will be higher, they can change the ribbing structures so it becomes far more rigid. All those things can be done in one go. Every rocket will be fundamentally different from the last one, so they will never be stuck. Like they can upgrade, refine, iterate much faster than what SpaceX could even achieve, which mind you is already 10 times faster than every other company. So that's the whole point. There is like some good foundation here. And what about cost? At the end of the day, it's all about economics. What about the cost? It should be super low, simply because there is very low labor requirement. Right now, how rockets are made, it's unless you are making like SpaceX, which is like at least cost effective, or you are making like ULAs. If you look at the ULA rocket system, it's like they have idiotically hyper expensive CNC machines that are super precise, consume aluminum like there is no tomorrow, and they are expensive. Now here's the deal: because you have those machines, you will have other machines that are doing other tasks, then you will have other machines that are doing other, and all of that will consume manpower. Consequence of that would be your labor cost would be idiotically high. Here they have one machine that does the heavy lifting, basically one machine that does 99% of the task, and at that point in time the labor cost goes down drastically, because while machines can get cheaper, labor cost only goes up. So if you inherently have fewer labors to pay, you fundamentally have a much cheaper economic structure. So fundamentally it's a really good system. That's what they are offering. That's why there is so much buzz around this company. So what were their rockets? Well, their rockets they are working on two rockets. One rocket is Terran 1. It's similar to Falcon 1. And this is a money-making pathfinder rocket, meaning it's one thing to say we're going to 3D print a rocket. It's one thing to do a test. Another thing to, okay, we're going to take a payload from a customer. We're going to put it on top of a rocket, send it into orbit, and do all the things needed to do that. That's a different thing. That requires pathfinders. So this is Relativity Terran 1 that's supposed to do that. Now, to understand Terran 1, think of it this way. You took Electron rocket. It's good. No denying that. It's seriously good, successful, reached orbit, and actually making company some serious money. That's GG. How about they're like, it's almost barely financially viable. And not to mention, even Electron Rockets, company, Rocket Lab, they're the self know that it's barely financially viable, so they are jumping to Neutron. So they're like, what if we give some breathing room? So it's a bit bigger Electron rocket. So it has the advantage that in between market, meaning what if you do not want to go as high as Falcon 9 and you do not want to go as low as Electron rocket? So they're like, what if we have this unique band where they're like, if Electron rocket is just not powerful enough, just a little bit, just like extra 50 kilograms would be good. What if it's just extra 100 kilograms would be good? So that's what they are aiming for, just that bit bigger, not too much bigger, but bit bigger. That gives them a flexible place to work with. So that's a very clever move on their part. It's not too exponentially expensive, and it will still teach them everything they need to learn, and then they want to work on their big daddy rockets. And then we come to Terran R. And Terran R is basically engineering's first rule. You do it first or you do it better. So Falcon 9 is the first reusable rocket. They are like, okay, we looked at Falcon 9, every problem it has, every good design decision it has, every bad design decision it has, and we're going to incorporate it in Terran R. So it's basically better Falcon 9 with 100% reusability, meaning the booster is reusable, including the upper stage. So that's the whole point of it. And that puppy is supposed to do the heavy lifting, meaning it's supposed to directly go toe to toe with Falcon 9, directly, not even going like around it, nah, direct, face to face, mano y mano. So that's the whole point of this company. So what about the updates? Well, updates is they have done a lot of successful engine testing, meaning this company is kind of quiet, and I'm not even sure they are quiet. It's like they do not have that kind of presence on the web, so to say. So they have been running engine tests continuously, successfully, like full duration test, which mind you was an issue with SLS. So achieving full duration test is not a laughing matter. They have done it multiple times and tested the tanks multiple times. So all the things that they're supposed to do, they are doing it. So things are going well for them. And the way they are aiming, their target is to reach orbit before 2022, meaning in next 6 months they're supposed to reach orbit. And they have already multiple location commissioned, meaning they no longer have the issue of like, we have only one small place that we are working on, then we have to transport our rockets. Now they are working on Florida. They're also working on some backup launch site which will be dedicated for sun synchronous orbit. So they are working a lot, and they have a lot of physical footprint. Even though this is a small startup company, from a financial point of view, from a point of view like how much land footprint you have, this company is huge. So that's also good. And the most ironic part about it, at current pace, if all things considered equal, they might actually bitch slap Blue Origin by reaching orbit first. Let that sink in. You made a company that is so goddamn slow that people who got pissed off by your company's slow progress left your company, made your own company, and they launched the rocket, and that rocket reached to orbit before you even got your own rocket to orbit. Damn. At that point, it will be like Blue Origin is just a laughing stock. At that point, it's like, bro. At that point, it's like, no, just no. At this point, it's like you are a laughing stock. So that would be interesting if that happens, which most likely it will. And what about money? Now that's the end game of it, because again, if you can't make financial, sense, it's no point. It's just gonna fizzle out after a while. This is the part where they're actually printing money. They are showing amazing promises. Right now, their main partners are like, again, there are many partners. They are claiming one big partner is OneWeb. Now, you may be like, isn't OneWeb being launched by SpaceX? Well, you have to understand that puts OneWeb in very weak sauce. That's a very weak sauce, meaning SpaceX could gray block them, meaning they're like, no, we have like Space Force launch coming up, so we have to bump up your launches. Like, there are things that SpaceX can do openly to just like, even they take the launch money, they're like, we're just going to launch you, we're just going to delay you. And delays in this sort of economy is not acceptable. So that puts them in like, very shaky ground, so to say. So fundamentally speaking, OneWeb really wants to jump into something that is like not directly competing with their own infrastructure. So that's they want to do. And they have a lot of money flowing in. How much money? $1.2 billion is flowing in for a rocket that they have not even built a prototype of. Terran R. That's the aspect of it you have to understand. This is the only startup company that has more money than they can do anything with. To give you a context, this is so much that they can have few launches in the start, acting as a failure, they still would be good. They're like, we still got this. That means they have far better situation economical wise than Rocket Lab had in the beginning, SpaceX had in the beginning, and even this Astra company. Astra company is like almost shareholders are like, you know what, can you actually launch rockets reliably? Because yeah, you are launching a lot of rockets. It's like, but majority of them are going boom. So it's like, can you do it? So this on the other hand is far more financially viable from day one. Now, what we can expect in the future? Well, one thing first. More competition equal more good. While Starship is very good, it has only one purpose: deploy Starlink as quickly as possible. There is no other purpose for this rocket just to deploy Starlink systems. Because Starlink satellites are much bigger now. They could not even fit in Falcon Heavy even if they tried, and they would not be able to carry enough to justify it. So they have to deploy this. And all the launches, again, there will be some other partners that will be like, no, we have some requirement. But you can see that they have not even built payload bay, because they know for a fact that the only thing this rocket will do is deploy Starlink. Once they have like perfected this rocket, once they have money making capacity of Starlink, then this rocket will be used for other purpose. Right now, Starlink, get the Starlink working, everything else is secondary. So more competition is more good in this sort of scenario. So the positioning, the fact that they are not positioning to beat this, they know for a fact that this sort of rocket has no use. Now people will say, oh, in future we can have, again, in future is in future. I'm talking about right now that you can book. So they know for a fact that Falcon 9 is always booked. So what if they directly go for that, go for the throat? So that's smart positioning, and the fact that they did not directly try to clone, successful rocket lab. They're like, what if we go a bit bigger, not too much bigger, so it becomes too much hassle to deal with, but bit bigger and have something unique to offer. So they have really smart positioning. Positioning wise, they are smart and good. And here's the main reason why they're getting so much money. While you can take entirety of Europe, all of the startup combined, and they do not even have half of it, is simply because they have enough spin-off technology at this point in time. Meaning, what is this company? Rocket company? Space company? No. This company is 3D printing with artificial intelligence. Now you may like, why do you need AI in 3D printing? Most of you have 3D printers. I have Ender 3. So here's the how we do normal 3D printing is you design the CAD, you send it to CAM software that makes the G code, then G code goes to CNC machine, and then voila, your 3D printer stuff. Now here's the deal. If you want to make big structure, metal behaves differently, so to say. Hot metal will shrink differently. Metal that is like, you lay it down and you are laying another layer on it, it will act differently. So what is happening here is like they have a basically layer that is converting the design that you design in your computer to like, okay, this is what I want. Now here's the deal. The AI is there to actually make that happen, because if they directly tried it, which they tried in the early days, and they're like, dude, metal has too much cracks. They tried it from day one. It's like, just print it. Nah, too much crack. So right now there is this is supposed to be the outcome, and AI is like, okay, let me do it, and it's real time observing, monitoring, adjusting the parameters. So even it's supposed, all it has is like, make the let's say wall this thick, is like, okay, I'm gonna do like this, or I'm gonna do a sweeper, or the temperature goes up too much, so it's gonna compensate for that. So all that requires intelligence. It cannot be just dumb. That's why no other company can replicate it, even though they have been working from 2015. That's the smart part of it. So they have more than enough spin-off technology, while other companies are, this is how big metal print we can do, and this company is like, so realistically speaking, they have more than enough spin-off technology, and that's why investors are so comfortable. It's like, yeah, just take the money, because right now you already are world's only this huge 3D printer. So fundamentally speaking, they're set. Financially they are set. Spin-off technology, they are already set. And they have very good goals. When you're talking about direct individuals, like the people leading the charge, they have a very clear outcome about things. Whereas like, when Elon Musk said like, if humanity has to go to Mars, this is not enough. This is just one tool. We have to have 10 tools like this, 20 tools like that, or practically speaking, hundreds of tools, hundreds of company working, then we may be able to do something like that. It's not going to happen if just one company is working their ass off. It's not going to happen. Realistically, it's not going to happen. So he wanted other people to like, pull their own load, so to say. And this company has that. It's like, we also want to go to Mars. So that's really amazing in this scenario. Their aims are very clear. They are like, very cleverly aiming. Rocket Lab is there. What if we go little above, not too much, so it becomes a hassle, just a little bit. And again, Falcon 9, what if you have Falcon 9 kind of rocket, but it's a bit cheaper, because again, its second stage is also reusable. So aims are very rare, and they are truly unique because they have already sorted the most complex 3D printing parts, metal parts, giant party in open system without like having a vacuum chamber or argon filled chamber. That's amazing. So the future is very interesting about this, and I hope in next few months I'm gonna make another rocket of us, like how the first launch went. So this was my presentation on Relativity space. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.